So I thought I would share with you a little bit of a training challenge that I'm dealing with Zack. Because the rules changed with the bidding for dressage, I'm left without a bit for Zack. Now I have all these bits to choose from, but he's got kind of a funny mouth, and he has been going in French link snaffle. And that French link snaffle is now not allowed. So I'm looking for a bit that will meet the requirements of dressage and also help me deal with some training issues that are inherent with Zack. So as I was saying, Zack is kind of a long horse. He's long in his neck and shoulder, and this is maybe not the best way to give you a sense of that. And he's long, especially in his back and his gaskin. So this to me is the thing that we struggle with the most, because he has a tendency, he has a huge stride, but he has a little bit of a challenge sitting. So the first bit that I decided to try is a single jointed loose ring snaffle that I have. This bit, is shaped around the tongue, so I'm hoping that it is not a problem for him as far as comfort. So what I start out with normally in warm-up, and in this case I'm riding him in a jumping saddle because I later jumped in the bit, but I am going to do just flat work here with him. So I'm very gently testing to see what his reaction to the bit is. What I feel right away, and this is Zack's nature, is he can get stiff and rigid. It's basically kind of a lateral thing, but how it shows up is in his walk, which you're going to see. So now I'm giving him some aids to collect a little bit and to soften to the bit. And there is something that I'm feeling that I think you can see a little bit, is he's starting to get rigid just in front of the withers. And so I try to supple him and try to get him to give, and he's just locked up right in front of the withers. And this really seems to pervade all of the riding that I did in this bit. He does not want to supple. He wants to kind of lock his jaw and, draw his neck down into his withers, like very stiff. And any collection is just kind of bracy, is my experience with this bit. Now, there are a couple of positives to this bit. You see that lateral walk there? That is, or a pace walk. That is him being rigid. So I'm doing a lot of transitions, trying to give the bit a chance. The one positive thing that I can say about the bit is that I have plenty of whoa. Like, he will come back to me at first, but as he got used to the bit, his attitude actually changed a bit, and he kind of just held the bit between his teeth. And I'm getting all my gears forward and back, but I'm just not getting a partnership. So the next time I decided to try the leather bit. This bit is a bit that Honor got into with her horse Napa, because her horse Napa hates snaffles. So I decided to give the leather bit a try. Now, as you can see here, he's immediately willing to kind of stretch into the contact. He's reacting nicely to the feel. And like I said, you can watch his walk, because when he braces, that walk will turn lateral. So anyway, I start out my warm-up with some long rein trotting. I'm in a dressage saddle. This is just dressage for me today, no jumping. So I'm getting some nice soft suppling at the on the long rein and stretching. So far so good. Now I begin to collect him a little bit. I go back to the walk, kind of check my walk to see how relaxed it's staying. Seems to be pretty good. And now I'm collecting him a lot more. Now, when I started to collect him, he got a little testy. You're gonna see he gets real testy right here. And we had a bit of a conversation about the fact that I was putting my leg on and keeping the contact. And so we had to do some negotiating here. And it took a minute. But I will say that once he realized that he couldn't really get away from the connection, that he had to go into the connection, he got a lot better. So you'll see he's really sitting up a little bit more here. And I'm not taking my leg off of him, which is making him ill. But as he begins to accept my leg, things improve. So we go back to the transitions, seeing how he'll soften. And the thing that I am paying the most attention to is whether he and I can have a conversation like this and find a way out of it where he accepts the connection. And as I'm working here, you know, I'm not loving that he's getting mad at me, but you'll see here he continues to work into the bit. And his complaint is that my leg is pushing him forward, but he's also using himself a lot better. And the big thing is that if you look right about where my hands are in front of the withers, there's a little bit more of a lift there. It's very subtle. But he definitely feels like I can get to his back with this bit, as opposed to the way it was with the single jointed snaffle, where he just locked his back and there just wasn't anything to work with. So I keep checking our transitions. This is all part of a training challenge here, is keeping him to stay relaxed. But in all, I feel like he's going towards the bit and accepting the bit without hiding from the bit, which was the problem I was running into with the snaffle, the single jointed snaffle. I think his palate is pretty low, and when that joint hits the roof of his mouth, he locks in his neck and locks in his jaw. Now here with this leather bit, I feel like he's staying supple. He's moving around my leg, as opposed to just like his spine turns into a rigid 2x4. The longer I worked in the leather bit, the happier I got with it. There was definitely an adjustment period. I think in the past, Zack has had a way to get away from the bit, either by locking his back or by gapping. That's one of the things he does with the French link, is he'll just it's almost like spit the bit. This bit seemed to stay with him, and he had to work with it. As a final reference, I thought I would include some old video of me riding in the French link. Now, a French link is fine if it has a lozenge middle, but I normally rode in a French link that had a very flat piece. I think you saw it in the beginning. So, you know, just looking back at these older videos, you know, Zack still seems to be a little sticky in his neck and jaw. So I think with the leather bit, we really have something that may improve everything overall. I'm looking for him to be more through, and even though these videos are not bad, I think he looked more through with the leather bit. Well, thanks for going on this little journey with me. I am happy to share my experiences, and maybe someone can learn along with me. Stay tuned for more videos like these. I'm really interested in sharing my training experience.